When I worked at my previous firm, we were very limited on the tools and resources that we had available, which makes sense when you work for a big corporation. But part of being an independent advisor is you're empowered to search for the right tool that will accomplish everything you're looking for and only make your clients' lives better and make your job easier. I needed to make sure tax planning was easy to incorporate into the conversation with my clients. My previous software didn't do a fabulous job with that. So it made it hard to have those tax planning conversations when you don't have a tool that's equipped with those capabilities. The other non-negotiable was Medicare planning. I feel like a lot of tools will just have a generic cost estimate. And with a lot of our wealthy clients, they're unaware of how Medicare works. And RightCapital has a fabulous ability to do a detailed estimate, and that really stood out to me. So, those two things were great. So I really, again, focus on tax planning and how can we be efficient in our savings now so that in the future you're also efficient. Not only just from the tax standpoint, but the Medicare piece. And that's where I really feel like RightCapital stands out from its peers, is it shows the impact to a client when they are retired and they have all these sources of income, whether it be pension, Social Security, and their required minimum distributions, and how that impacts their taxes and Medicare premiums. So that has been a very valuable tool to a lot of my high net worth clients because they have no idea that that's coming. And so that they trust that we're looking at those things. And yes, there's a lot of things, again, out of our control, and there's things that can change between now and then, but it is our job to give them that education and insight. And when you have a tool that is efficient and easy to use, it makes your job so much easier to have these conversations with clients because, again, they have no idea that that's coming. So choosing RightCapital, it was a no-brainer. In fact, I have talked to several of my peers and I have talked them into using RightCapital from other competitors because why make planning harder than it has to be? There's already so many things we have to juggle in our lives. And if we can have a tool that is efficient and easy to use and also very straightforward from a client experience, it's a no-brainer. It sells itself. It was extremely easy. I think the way it's set up, you go through the profile and enter the data into each section. But I think where I like to spend most of my time is in analysis. I'm looking at different scenarios with clients, and it's all specific to each client. But it's extremely easy to use. And that's why I talked to some of my peers about switching from one tool that may not be easy to use. It's very powerful, and there's a lot that other tools have, just like RightCapital, but it's not efficient. When you have to go from one screen to another to look at cash flows and you're clicking probably 6 times to get there, where in RightCapital, in analysis, you click and then you're in cash flows, and it's just it allows for a much more streamlined, efficient meeting. I have had a lot of experience with some of my advisors who are outsourcing planning to me where they did use another software. And I asked the advisor, I say, well, let's do the plan in your current software, but let's also use my software so that we can see what the client experience will look like and the difference. And we started with a presentation in their current software, and then I transitioned over to RightCapital. And the client was very familiar with the previous software. They've been using it for probably a decade with their advisor. But I said, with this life change that you're currently going through, we're going to incorporate another tool. And here's why. I want to be able to show you the cash flow of how you're going to sustain your lifestyle in a very straightforward manner. And so we brought in RightCapital into our presentation, and the client was so impressed that he was very honest. He said, well, can I have access to this online now? Because I feel like this really answers my questions. Other software doesn't allow clients to see those cash flow summaries and click on that different headers and see how, okay, here's where my income's coming from. Other software only allows it if you generate a report and upload it, which again, doesn't resonate with clients as much. So that was really rewarding to hear their experience in a very crucial time in their life. I feel like a lot of clients are hands-on now. They want to be engaged in conversations with their advisor. And yes, they trust us. They know that we're doing the best job for them. However, they still want to be able to log in and see how, if they had a really bad day at work, well, what if I retired 2 years earlier? What's that going to look like? So to empower them with the tool where they can go online and see that change real time, I think is very impactful to the relationship, because we're investing in that relationship and tools that are making their lives easier. I also like how RightCapital has the intel for us to go in and see when clients are logging in and how often. So it's really funny. I have a client that has logged in almost every single day in the last year. Some people are really hands-on and they like to have that tool, and that's their one-stop shop. They link all their external bank accounts, their credit cards, they're using our budget tool. So they use it for all things financial. I also add their insurance policies, their property casualty, their umbrella policies. So it allows them to even take that tool and use with their insurance broker to make sure that they have adequate coverage from that risk perspective as well. So it helps those clients, manage all things financial. The clients have access to the tool, and I like that they can go home and they can talk amongst themselves and they can say, well, we've talked about retiring at this age. However, maybe we want to retire earlier. What is that going to look like? And they can do that from the comfort of their home, and they don't have to feel like they have to be very vulnerable in our meeting, even though a lot of times they can still have that private conversation at home and play with the tool and utilize it in the way that they see suitable for their family dynamic. And I do feel like that is really important for clients. I really like how the snapshot brings all the components that you customize for that particular client into one screen. So you can show them, yes, we're experiencing volatility in the market right now. However, you're still at X percentage success, probability of success. And a lot of times it's between 90 and 100%. And so when the market's down 5, 10, 15%, and the client can still see they're on track to meet their goals, it helps give them peace of mind that, it's uncomfortable, but they know that they're still on track. So using that snapshot screen, I feel like really has changed the relationship, because again, we've always talked about it, but seeing it all in one page, and it doesn't overwhelm them because you can customize what's important to that particular client and how you're focusing that relationship, whether it's tax planning or just income distribution. It allows you to show on one screen, here's where you're at currently, and then you can lead into other topics if you need to. They want to see their situation live, and they want to see how, when you move the dials, how those variables might change their outcome. So giving a report isn't as important as it used to be. They want to see a tool on one screen that is easy to understand and know if I'm going to be okay if this variable changes. So RightCapital by far does a fabulous job with our clients and showing those impacts to their life. I think with clients and every single financial plan that you do being unique and different and, customized to the client's needs, I really like the different visuals because it resonates with certain clients in different ways. So some clients really like to look at the cash flow summary where it's just a whole bunch of numbers, where other clients want to see a chart, or they want to see a graph. So it's really nice to be able to customize your presentation to what is important to the client so that they actually can interpret and understand what their financial picture looks like. So I do love the visuals that RightCapital has available. Yeah, again, I think with RightCapital, it does a great job of meeting the client where they're at in their life. So a lot of advisors work with pre-retirees or retirees, which is great. That's the target demographic. That's where you can manage a lot of assets with IRAs, etc. However, I feel like RightCapital is also a really great tool for your younger clients who are still in the savings phase of their life. I like incorporating the difference of saving in Roth versus tax deferred into meetings with these clients. I like the idea of incorporating saving in a health savings account and the benefits of that and not reimbursing yourself until years later. And RightCapital does a fabulous job of just meeting the client of all ages where they're at in their life. So you can really customize it for that particular client and their specific needs. You can have these great conversations with clients. However, if they don't take your recommendations and go and incorporate some of those changes into their lives, it's almost kind of a moot point. So I really like how RightCapital has the task feature built in where you can help clients prioritize what they need to focus on. And I have tasks built out for clients years out. And I like that it helps me stay organized. I like that it helps my clients stay organized. And we know that, okay, well, in a few years, we'll talk about this, but it's on the list and we're going to address it when the right time comes. So that really helps me hold my clients accountable, hold myself accountable. And it really just, again, allows us to make those changes in our clients' lives.